Live, live, live.
Yeah.
You're live. You are live.
Amazing.
You are live, Jesse.
So are you, Shrikala?
Yeah.
Guys, welcome. You guys mostly know me. I'm Jessie from Jessie Johnson Coaching, CEO and founder. This beautiful 7-figure business, coaching spiritual entrepreneurs and building their 7-figure businesses. And today I'm really honored and excited to have my beloved husband and partner in crime joining me to help you guys think through your 2020 vision.
Yes.
Shrikala is...
Yes, I'm Shrikala. I love to make music. I love how the love and the vibration comes through sound as a live performer, as a producer. Also a teacher, as I've been living as a monk for 6-7 years, and within the temple diving into meditation, mantra, bhakti, and outside of the temple seeing how that fits into the world, how that connects into the sphere of music, performance, just being at home with Jesse, just that simple magic also.
In my experience, Shrikala is one of the most powerful spiritual teachers and musicians that I have ever encountered. I feel like his spiritual transmission comes through in his music. And so you can find his music at shrikala.com, or just search Shrikala. You'll find him on all the platforms. Shrikala, I just typed into the chat.
Yeah.
So those of you that are here, just let us know that you're here. Say hi, introduce yourselves, let us know where you're streaming in from. We're gonna support you guys in going through some visioning exercises that help you get clear about what it is that you want to create in 2020. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. We'll ask you some tough questions and then open up the floor for you guys to ask us any questions that are up for you. So the more that you guys let us know what you're thinking about, the more we'll be able to respond. We're really excited to go through this with you.
Yes. I love thinking ahead so much. Thinking into 2020 now.
Yeah, isn't it radical?
It's pretty amazing.
I mean, I'll be honest, I think this is the first time that I have thought about a full 12-month year this far in advance. And the only reason that it's happening is because 2020 just kind of called forth this level of clarity for us, that we were like, oh, we want to be even clearer in our creation process.
Yeah.
In this coming year than ever before. And what better way to get that clarity than to give ourselves a head start and begin now.
Yes.
And then what's cool is that other people are picking up on it too. Like, we just got a notification this morning about Oprah's 2020 vision. People are picking up. This is like, it'll be a meme.
It's definitely the time for clarity.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's like planetary alignment for clarity right now. And so it's like, hop on the boat.
Feel somewhat familiar because you're used to starting school at this time. So there is a kind of momentum that I think culture naturally holds to help us kind of set goals and start new projects. But really today, we want to invite you to think about 2020, beginning January 1st, 2020, which is almost 4 months from now, and going through the entire 12 months of that year. And to let yourself get a little dreamy here about what you would love to see happen. And to let the space that there is right now between, right, because we've got 4 months, letting that 4 months just give you a lot of space to, like, it's like whatever it is that you dream in this moment, whatever it is that comes through, you don't have to do anything about right now because there's time, right? There's no pressure. So what is it that you would love to create? And we'll guide you through this process through 3 lenses. So when it comes to your relationship with the divine, hey Cassandra, nice to see you. Everybody that's coming in, just let us know what's landing, let us know you're here. Any questions that come up, you don't have to wait. We might wait to answer them, but like pop in the chat just to keep us in the loop. That's what makes these lives, I feel, so interactive or so powerful, is when you guys are actually like letting us know that you're here.
Yeah,
not just listening in the background or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, Erica.
Aloha.
So nice to see you. So
Welcome.
So when you think about your vision for 2020, and you can close your eyes for a moment if you want to just kind of drop in, like feel yourself witnessing that year happen, unfold in front of your own eyes. Like you're watching someone else live in your life. Just to give you that space to see it. What is it that you see? What is it that you feel? What is it that you know? And you can go deeper, specifically in the realm of devotion. When you think about the role of devotion in 2020, what comes up for you? Who are you loving? Who are you devoted to? What are the values that are streaming through? What is your relationship with God like?
When we take time to give attention to what we see for ourselves in the future, it's like giving your light to the atmosphere of what is to come. So we're just taking a little time to tune in to who you are in the future from where you are now.
Mm.
I love the prompt to let this be fun, let this be easy, exciting, because you could easily make this hard. But notice where that hardness comes in. See if you can just drop that and fall into relief and ease around who are you in 2020.
You can use the year to invoke this perfection of clarity. It's kind of just it almost feels like a gimmick, but at the same time, like what fun to just kind of claim 2020 clarity, 2020 vision.
Mm-hmm.
So as you connect in the visioning process, you can let yourself get really precise. Literally let your vision of the future become very specific, focused, refined. Like you can just see every detail.
Like even what clothes are you wearing? What color is your shirt? Like that much detail.
What places in the world do you travel? What kind of people are you serving? What kind of money are you making? What kind of impact are you having? Where is your service touching the world, touching the globe? Hi, Darte.
And with that envisioning, you can feel free to notice where you feel some resistance towards even thinking about the idea. So
Anybody feeling that? Anybody like already kind of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be thinking about? I'm having that.
Mm-hmm.
Like as I'm here, I'm just like, oh yeah. So just to recognize you're not alone.
Yeah.
It's a normal thing. And,
yeah. And just to
listen
welcome
to Shri.
it. And just sit with that just for a moment. What does that feel like? The future you, the 2020 you. And right now we're doing something really magical. We're bringing your powerful, powerful light, your powerful ability to bring your awareness and your attention and using that power to crystallize a future moment.
Mm.
And we're doing that together too.
The reason that this can be easy is because you don't actually have to figure it out. Your vision is given to you. And you recognize your vision through your desire. Right? So the things that you want because the divine is like sending you little whispers, little directions, little hints, maybe not so little. But you don't have to like work to create a vision. Your visioning process is really about listening, surrendering, tuning in, opening your eyes on that level of the unseen, which is so interesting. But just to see into the future with the same or even more clarity that you see with your physical eyes.
And this is the beauty of 2020 vision. Really tuning into your ability to show up in this way and drop into your ease to then create what you're looking for in the future. Like, who are you right now to think about this in the future? And refining that and having more of yourself through the process of devotion, through the process of impact and prosperity.
So this is the first step, and you have time. You know, we're guiding you through this process today in part so you can like kind of capture some of the nuggets, and partly to help remind you. I'm 100% sure that all of you have done visioning before. I know you know how to dream. I know you know how to create a vision board or write down goals for yourself. That's not a new skill, but to remind you to give yourself this period of time between now and January to do that with so much abundance in the process, right? That there's no rush, so that when January arrives, you're already in the clarity. You're not starting to figure it out in January because you've been chewing on it and leaning into it and discovering it since September. So let's like just congratulate yourselves right now, like that you're even on this call means that you are thinking way further ahead with way more clarity. You're setting yourself up for success already. So let's do this. I want you guys to write down a kind of structure for yourself to come back to this. So underneath vision for 2020, there's 3 questions to ask yourself to just guide your thinking. The first is around devotion. What does your vision look like when it comes to devotion? The second is around impact. And the third is around prosperity. And if you articulate your vision for those 3 aspects of your year, our proposal is that that is going to bring you all the clarity that you need. Those 3 pieces are the 3 most important questions to ask yourself. What does this vision want to do? How does it want to show up? Through the lens of devotion, through the lens of impact, and through the lens of prosperity. So just to break that down again, devotion, when we talk about devotion, do you want to say this?
Oh, so I think that's a beautiful direction. Like, what can we say about the connection between devotion and what it is that you want?
Yeah. Yeah.
And impact and prosperity.
Yeah, let's talk about each one.
Yeah.
So devotion, we talked about this a little bit in the meditation, but to let yourself really look at what are you going to be devoted to in 2020? Who are you going to be devoted to in 2020?
What's the quality of your devotion? Is it full of enthusiasm? Is it sluggish? Is it moving quick? Is it moving slow? Like, what's the tangible texture of how your devotion is showing up?
Yeah, it's a very kinesthetic thing, I think. So, and specifically connecting and bringing in the divine, whether you call that God or Krishna or the universe or source energy or life force, whatever name you give it is totally up to you. But what is that relationship in 2020? One of the things that we've been talking about a lot lately is what it would be like to have God on your board of directors. To really feel like God is a person who speaks to you in words that you can hear, that you can talk to in words that he, she, they, it can hear, right? That like, that's not, that it's very literal. So I would plant that seed for you guys also, that in this category of devotion, that you're asking yourself about the role of spirit, the role of that divine energy in your year.
Yeah.
And for us, always, but renewed in 2020, our vision is to have God be right at the center of all our relationships, that we are having that conversation directly.
Yeah.
Hearing in both directions, hearing and listening. I'm sorry.
Hearing
Maybe
and
that's
listening.
both directions.
Yeah, double. Yeah.
Hearing, listening, sharing, communicating. So that's devotion.
And devotion in the space of really resting in the safety that is here all the time, always. In the sense of in our connection with the divine, knowing that that abundance is here, knowing that the money is here, the relationship is here, the joy is here, the safety is here, and then acting from that space, and being in your business from that space, creating your art from that space, and what happens in your business, what happens in your art, when you're rested in a space of where there's no concern, there's no worry about fixing something before moving forward. There's always a connection with the divine, a connection to God, a connection to that all-powerful energy that we are a part of.
I love that you said that. I think that's so important. I don't know that I've ever heard anyone prompt me to envision around that. You know, it's really powerful. I think that one of our shared purposes, and part of the reason that we're doing this work together now in this one little avenue of our lives and businesses, is that we really value and want to have that conversation about spirituality in the same conversation as we have about our business, that we don't separate these things. We could, there's nothing wrong with that, but that we want to have the conversation together. We want God in the business conversation, and we want spirit in the business, and we want our business to be an uninterrupted experience of God. We don't table our relationship with God to go do business. We're like, no, this is one, same.
Yeah. And having the opportunity to unearth the connection between the two.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here is where people of massive wealth, people of massive connection, like you just spoke of Oprah, and all of these personalities, they're actually really tangibly and consciously using these principles of spirituality in their business. Like, these principles, these laws, these universal laws are inside of every successful business. And so taking the opportunity with the 2020 vision to really make the connections between these, really ground the bridge, put the bridge together.
Yeah, so powerful. I love thinking about that. Like, imagine what Oprah's vision for 2020 is. I bet it's already scheduled. Like, they already have the guest booked. Like, they already know what's happening. Yeah, like, it's, you know. And at this level, you know, the power of creating ritual around setting intentions. And I would say more than setting intentions here, because it's like, these are not just like cross your fingers and hope it happens. It's like, no, whatever it is that you come up with here in this conversation and through the rest of your work around this vision, that's the decision that it's going to happen. I feel like I learned about decision, the truth of like the correct energy of decision from you, Shri. Do you remember that?
No, explain.
There was this. I mean, obviously, we all. Oh, say it.
I think of Big Sean when she says this. Big Sean is a mainstream artist, hip hop artist. You know, had his album at the top billboards for several years, and he is someone that is bringing forth so much information from universal law, from consciousness, and also his embodiment in the world. And his last album was called I Decided, which was a pretty powerful album, because in the album, it's from the perspective of if he got another chance to come back to Earth and do it all over again, based on what he knew, what would he do now? Like, what would be his actions now if he got to do it again? And from that perspective, one of the things that came up for him was like, oh, I decided that I was going to be at the top of the billboards. I decided that I was going to be rich. I decided that I was going to be, and I just made that choice. And I brought all of my focus, all of my energy and attention to that one choice, that one decision. And the whole album is about this decision that he made. And I think that's pretty powerful to see a mainstream artist, someone so successful, coming through with these spiritual understandings and these universal laws, and bringing it on a mainstream level, which means international stage.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to what's happening more and more, is that the space of massive growth, massive money, massive abundance, massive fame is really kind of connecting with spirituality and consciousness as something that goes hand in hand. So I feel like that's really powerful.
I love that.
So I don't know if that connects to your I decided.
It totally does.
Yeah.
I think just the way you told the story is part of the teaching, because it wasn't like there was a period in my life, for sure, I probably still do this, where I was constantly like, coming in like, I'm ready for change. Like, this is going to happen. I'm so excited. I've decided it's going to be different. And in fact, what I discovered was that sort of over enthusiasm, I don't mean to knock it. It was a good feeling, and it was catalyzing.
Good momentum.
But it wasn't the energy of sustainable transformation.
Or quantum.
It was kind of this peak experience energy, like, rah, right? But the actual energy of decision, and this is what I learned from you, and I feel like what you just demonstrated is just like very neutral. It's not like, I'm gonna make this happen or else, and it's also not like, I'm totally gonna make this happen, it's gonna be amazing. It's like, this is happening.
This is what it is.
It's done.
Yes. This is who I am now.
So this is an ongoing process, right? Each thing that you choose to lean into as your vision is given to you, right? So we're kind of channeling in these like instructions for you guys, I feel like, as we go. One of those instructions is to receive the vision. You don't have to go searching for it. You don't have to figure it out. You just like open and let it come through you.
I like that.
Allow the transmission to arrive.
Yeah.
And that when it comes, when it drops in, that you're like, yep. And that you can feel your excitement for it to happen. You can feel your enthusiasm. And at the same time, like when you're ready to really commit to it, that you recognize that the energy signature of decision is very grounded, calm, clear, complete. It's not like hurrying to make something happen or fear-based at all.
Or overly excited that it's going to happen or that it's happening.
Yeah. Yes. So, okay, we've talked about devotion.
Yes.
Let's talk about impact a little bit.
Impact.
So when you're receiving your vision around impact, you're maybe asking yourself or looking for what it looks like for your service to touch people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like who is going to be on the receiving end of your offering this year? And you might see specific faces. You might see certain types of people. You might be surprised by the types of people that you see. You might see certain locations. You might see numbers. You know, I have friends and clients who are working on books in this next year who are seeing their books in the hands of tens of thousands of people who they're not going to picture 10,000 different faces, but they're seeing that number come through, seeing their reach literally touch, like their transmission will touch 10,000 hearts, 10,000 minds, 10,000 eyes, or 100,000 or a million, right? So numbers can also play into this question about impact.
Or 10 of the most powerful people in the world.
Yeah.
Just depending on where.
Exactly.
What you want, where you want to go.
That's a great point. So impact can be about scale, like how many you're reaching. It can also be about depth, how deep the transmission goes, right? Our work, especially in collaboration, is not so much about scale, or the immediate scale isn't really where we're focused. We're focused on the depth of the transformation, because then that's what's scalable.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think that many of you guys know we're taking a group of people to India in January as part of our container for the 2020 vision. And we're only looking for 10 people. But the impact that we expect to see in the lives and businesses of those 10 people is enormous.
Which will then reach millions and millions of people.
Right.
Through doing work with just 10 people.
So, you know, for me, I'll be honest, for a couple of years in my business, I didn't think about impact explicitly. And it took me, frankly, kind of like a little breakdown in my business where I got really frustrated and really unhappy about how things were going, to realize that, like, oh, the thing that is actually motivating me all the time in my business is impact.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not having an impact right now in this moment, then I'll go do something else that will. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to be a change agent myself. I want to catalyze transformation and healing and service in others. Mm. So as soon as I kind of got that, then it became a part of the conversation. Like, oh, let's just talk about that explicitly. What do we want the impact to look like this year? Mm. And then maybe, like Shri was sharing, kind of a strategy for impact. You might see something like that too. If you don't, that's fine. The vision doesn't have to include strategy. That's a really important piece to know. The strategy will come from the vision. That's, those of you that know my teachings, that's a little GPS metaphor. But you gotta have the vision first. So don't worry about strategy right now. You just focus on the vision. So devotion in your vision, impact in your vision, and then finally prosperity in your vision.
I'd like to say one more thing about impact.
Great.
And impact in the space of when you spoke about having that moment of dissatisfaction. Mm. In how much the impact was being reached. And, you know, the whole journey of the 2020 vision, the whole journey of devotion and bringing devotion into it, and how devotion leads into the impact, is putting your ducks in order. Kind of like tuning into the divine presence, tuning into God, tuning into the God that's around you, the God that's in you as you. Mm-hmm. And then moving from there. So a lot of times what happens, especially in today's day and age, where there's a lot of numbers that we're all comparing ourselves to, with social media and Instagram, and every time you post something, you can see how much numbers it goes up, and then you're constantly watching it and constantly judging yourself based on the numbers that you see. And, you know, what we're doing is all about forget the numbers, or let the person that's supposed to look at the numbers and handle it and look at the metrics and use that to build the brand. But ultimately, as creators, one of the most important things that we learn how to do to build impact is to tune in to the vision that we want, to have gratitude for that vision as if it's existing now, and to live from that space regardless of what numbers we see, regardless of if the numbers are going up or down, but knowing who exactly you are, knowing who exactly we are, mm-hmm. and living from there completely, and how that is a major platform.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think that it's so easy to misunderstand.
Yeah.
Right. And like, even right now, you know, we could be looking at the number of people who are here live and using that number to like feel more or less impactful.
Yeah.
And that's not
and to rethink what we're going to say or any of that stuff. Yeah.
So, and the reality is that I think that when it comes to social media and followers and engagement and all that kind of stuff, like things are changing so fast.
Yeah.
it's important for you to let yourself step it. Like that's, again, part of this is setting some goals around that, understanding the energy underneath those goals. That's really what I heard you saying, is like, you know, there's a lot of people who tell me, this will come up in the prosperity thing too, but we all, not just people out there like me too, all of us get caught up in fantasies. You know, if I make $1 million a year, then my life will be great. If I have 1 million followers on YouTube, then my business will be really successful. If I have, you know, in other words, it's just a codependency that's been misplaced on yet another feature, you know, in this case, social media numbers or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course you're here to impact more people, all of us. That's just the truth, right? Until we die, we're here to impact more people. And maybe even after our death.
Yeah.
But that's not a measure of our worth or our success. And so as you explore the vision for your impact in 2020, I think that's a really powerful lens to remember, you know, to really interrogate the motivation for each of the things that you want. So a really simple tool to investigate that is just ask yourself why. For any of the things that you write down in your vision, just ask yourself, why do I want that? And if the answer is because I think it'll make me feel better about myself, that might be worth looking at. If the answer is because that's the vision that God gave me and I don't even really understand it, you know, then in my experience, that's a little safer. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
So, yeah. What are you thinking?
I love what you're saying. I'm actually thinking about just tuning in for a moment to some of the things people are saying before we jump into prosperity.
Okay.
We have new timeline divination. She's saying that in 2020, I want to make my decisions in flow and connection with the highest vibes.
Woo!
Yeah. Woo! There's a woo there. Woo! Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually love bringing in that word flow. I think that is part of devotion, actually, is like when we're in communion with God, that shows up as flow in our day-to-day experience.
Yeah, there's a natural clarity that you latch onto, and that takes you into each moment.
Yeah.
Awesome. She's into this conversation.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Erica says the energy of decision is very neutral. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cool because it's neutral, but it contains all the emotions. You know, so it's not like no emotion. It's like it's neutral, but we get to experience a variety within that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tempered fire.
I'm curious to know more about that.
Yeah, tempered fire.
Did we say that?
I guess we might have touched on that. Like, there's fire, but it's like that's the same as the neutral.
In the neutral decision. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Channeled, maybe even, like into the directed. I don't want to say controlled. That's too rigid. But like that, it's not just like chaotic. Yeah. Right. It's a very powerful, fierce force field that's being directed in the direction of what you want to create. Yeah. Great. Yep.
I like a combination of art and coaching.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's powerful. Peaceful power in the decision. Yeah. It's so interesting. I think that's an important theme of all of this, because when it's one thing to do a visioning exercise. It's a second thing to decide that whatever the visioning showed you or revealed to you, that you're going to do it.
Awesome.
Prosperity?
Prosperity.
So the truth is that when I think that there's a connection between all of these words, right? When we're in our devotion,
there's more prosperity.
There's more impact. We reach more people because we're in devotion is all about relationship with source energy, collaboration,
relationship with yourself.
So when all those parts are in alignment, then of course we reach more people and reach those people more deeply and more powerfully. So when we reach people more deeply and more powerfully, when we're thinking about impact, then of course, how can we not make more money? And I want to make sure to support you guys in shifting out of any even little residual magical thinking you might have into a place of really empowered thinking. So it's not like if you just like do this exercise with us and cross your fingers and hope that the money will come. Like your action will bring in that money. And the first thing to do is to just think about what you want. What kind of money would you love to make in 2020? What kind of money wants to be made through you? If you knew that whatever number comes through would just benefit everyone in your life, everyone in the world, what number would you pick? And then again, ask yourself why. Why that number? For me, the truth is that my spiritual life has transformed and deepened so much since incorporating money into my spiritual practice. Mm-hmm. It's shown me my limitations in my own faith. It's shown me where I could collaborate with God more. It's shown me the limits of my capacity to receive from God and every human that I know, from myself even. And so because of that, I really like to use numbers, specifically around money, to set goals for myself, because it helps me step into the newer, bigger, more fully expressed, more empowered version of myself. Mm. And so for me, that's one of the reasons that I continue to increase the goal. It's to lean outside of my comfort zone and do something I haven't done before. Mm. It's to help more people. It's to build a business that employs more people, that sets up like more infrastructure for more incredible jobs to serve this mission and movement. Mm. It is also because we love to travel and fly first class and go to Six Flags on a Friday. It's like,
and get plantain chips.
To be able to have the freedom to choose what we want without any feeling of scarcity. So those are just some of the to see what we're capable of, because it's fun, right? All these things are some of the reasons that I connect to when I ask myself about my own financial goal. And the numbers always have just come to me, Sometimes it's taken me a month to meet those numbers. Sometimes it's taken me a year, but I do it eventually. Mm. So I really believe in the power of financial goal setting in this spiritual context.
It also feels like it brings you into the vibration of prosperity. It presences you into the mood of prosperity. Like, oh, this is how prosperity feels when you get a chance to actually think about the numbers and drop into how you see the money showing up, how much money is showing up, and through what services do you want that money to come into the world, and how that it gets into your physical body. Like you can actually tangibly feel like a rise of energy. And makes me think of, when there are powerful people, there are very prosperous people that you just know that they're prosperous because of how they walk in the room. They just carry energy of prosperity because the level of thought around prosperity is constantly active within them. So it's like they walk in with that. Yeah.
It's important also to remember, as you think about numbers, which I'm advocating that you guys let yourself think about numbers because I think it's really helpful. At the same time, to recognize that financial empowerment isn't about a number. Financial security is not about a number. Financial freedom is not about a number. All of those things are a skill. And the number is really in service to you mastering the skill that is financial freedom. And basically the skill is just the confidence, the mastery around money, that you know that no matter what, you can bring in the money you want and need whenever you want and need it. And that's a collaboration with the divine. That is directly connected to this devotion that we talked about that came first. So we can like loop these, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a chronological thing. They all connect and web and right. So when I want to make sure that you guys are looking at that. One of the things, this came up just in the last month in one of my group programs, that multiple people were kind of like aiming for a financial goal. And then as they were working toward it, they realized that they were approaching that goal as if it was a one-time challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So they were going to make this big amount of money this month. And then at some level in their psyche, they were thinking they would never have to think about money again.
Like they would just stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a big, big moment for people to recognize, like, that's not the paradigm that we're existing in. Whatever this, there's never going to be a time in your life when you don't have financial opportunity.
Yeah. Real prosperity means constant activity.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Tuning into the constant activity of possibility for more, for growth. Yeah.
He's quoting this book, so I just throw it in there. It's a good one.
Very powerful book.
The Abundance Book by John Randolph Price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in this book, he states that prosperity, connecting to prosperity, is very much about tuning in to your felt aware sense of knowing, your awareness and your knowing and your understanding of what it feels like to be in the presence of lavishness, in the presence of divinity, that is also where all of abundance and money and resource and all these things come from, is connected to your inner supply, your inner presence, and how this thing is a constant activity. Like, I'm aware of the constant activity of the divine, and this becomes a moment to moment, day by day, breath by breath activity.
Yeah. Okay.
I have an idea.
Tell me.
What if we do one small meditation where we go back again into the wanting?
Okay.
Based on these three. Now that we've fleshed out devotion, impact, prosperity, let's do one more meditation where we tune into what we want for 2020, so that we go into the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So bringing it back to the first meditation that we did, same. What do you want for 2020? What do you see yourself doing? Where are you? How big is your devotion to your art, to your service, to your business, to serving through your business, to bringing your massive nourishment and love to the world through your business? How much impact do you want to make? What does that impact look like? What does it feel like? How many people are in the crowd? How many people are lined up as clients? How easy is it? And prosperity. How much money are you making? How much resource do you have around you? And also tuning into what areas of your body pushes against your vision. Also noticing that and acknowledging that side. What are the tangible blocks that come up when we think about that? When we envision.
it's really important to ask yourself both. The embodiment, the manifestation of your vision depends upon you articulating for yourself the risk in you having what you want, because there is one, or you would have it already. There is some risk, whether it's conscious or unconscious. And if you do the inner reflection work to articulate that for yourself, you won't be caught off guard by it. You won't be blindsided by it. You won't be stopped by it. For most people, one of the biggest challenges or obstacles in doing transformational work, particularly around money and impact, is relationship, and the risk of losing a relationship or changing a relationship. And that's real. So it's important to acknowledge, right? Change isn't about fantasy. Your vision that we've been working with for the last 45 minutes, it's not a fantasy. There will never be a time when you get all your ducks lined up in a row and then your life has no challenge or suffering or obstacle in it. That's not what you're here for. You're not here to escape the challenges. You're here to go deeper. You're here to grow. And the challenges are what actually propel you into that next level of growth. So when you think about 2020, think about how your vision will challenge you. How will it challenge the people in your life? What's at stake if you create it? And then you can use these triple lenses that we're using, devotion, impact, and prosperity, to decide in advance how you're going to work with those challenges. So can I give an example about us?
Yeah.
We're coming up almost on the 2-year anniversary of Shri and I breaking up, when we hit our roadblock, where we realized that in order for either one of us to grow, something big had to change, and we couldn't seem to figure out how to make that change and stay together. And so we broke up. And I think we had both been consciously and unconsciously avoiding looking at the truth of what wasn't working because we didn't want to break up. We were avoiding breaking up at all costs.
And in one way, we were avoiding feeling that messy, nasty feeling, or even looking at an area where we may feel unloved. You know, it's just like, oh no, that unloved part down there, that's not me. I'm gonna just like tuck it under something and go and look the other direction. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm spiritual. Like I don't have to. Yeah. You can rise above. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like whatever it is that needs to be seen in order for you to grow will demand your attention. And so my devotion, and I could say this about both of us, but I just want to speak for myself. My devotion to living my purpose, to doing my service, and to the vision that was flowing through me was the only thing that allowed me to put one foot in front of the other and say goodbye to this man that I loved. It was terrifying and devastating. And devotion is what carried me through. And I would say also that devotion is what brought us back together, because we continued to stay the course of our devotion and dedication to our own growth more than anything else, more than the safety that we found in the relationship, more than the familiarity of the codependency and the resentment and all those kind of dark and nasty things. We were more dedicated to growth than we were to keeping the relationship intact.
And this is such a secret weapon kind of like a holy grail,
Mm.
to know the science of devotion, to understand these sciences, because then these become they become a massive support structure to transitioning, to changing, to up leveling, to coming back together. Yeah, I just feel like that's a powerful thing to have that as a tool.
Yeah.
To pivot.
And I didn't before. I mean, that was the thing about us breaking up, that I think it just had to happen, because I needed to know that I was really willing to do whatever it took to live the vision that God was giving me, even if it meant losing you. And then what happens, and this just happens over and over again, is that I don't actually have to, like, I get to have it all. I get to. But in order to have it all, I have to be willing to
create space.
And renounce.
That's what you're gonna say.
No.
Yeah.
But I love that you said that. No, I had to be willing to let it go.
Yes.
I had to be willing to renounce my own personal preference and let the universal preference, or the God preference, trump.
Which is a powerful feature of taking this journey to India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We're talking about it, but we're not talking about it so far. We got 9 minutes left.
Yes. Taking this journey to India, and how we're creating that space for you to see more of what's going on. And actually, the divine is so active in India. Brings that forth.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to put it out there, the thing with this, so we're leading a program together. We've come full circle. Not only are we together now, we're married. Now we're leading this year-long mastermind program. And Erica, thank you so much. I feel you. I feel you
appreciating your
seeing
words.
us. Yeah. 10 entrepreneurs, coaches, spiritual teachers, healers, creatives, visionaries who want to build 7-figure businesses and have huge impact are going to come with us to India this year in January.
We have around 3 right now. So act fast.
Well, we want it to be really intimate. And we'll spend 3 weeks in India in January for the purpose of really up-leveling everyone's connection to the divine, up-leveling everyone's connection to that God relationship, and to integrate that in their understanding of impact and prosperity. So we'll be really, because our clients are primarily spiritual entrepreneurs, it's all about getting everything up to the same level, right? The money mastery matches the spiritual mastery, matches the emotional mastery, matches the business mastery, right? So getting all of that kind of operating at one level so that then everything can rise up together. And so India and just our spiritual lives have been such a powerful part of our own growth, obviously, and our success financially and otherwise. And so we want to give that to our clients. So we're going to do it together, which is a really big deal for us. It's our first professional collaboration at this level. And the vision that we have for each of the people that come is that their devotion, their impact, and their prosperity increase by a factor of 20 over the course of 2020. So that they experience connecting with God 20 times as often, or with 20 times the clarity, or both. That they reach 20 times the number of people at a 20 times more intense depth. And that their income increases by 20 times, right? So if they're making $50,000 a year, that they'll be making $1 million a year in 2020. That's an example. So if that calls to you, if you feel like a resonance with us and you want to step deeper into this container, then there is a link here that Nancy, my my client concierge will put into the chat, and you guys can book time with us to have a one-on-two conversation about how we work and more details about the program, and make sure that it's a good fit for you. And if it is, then you can be number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. And I feel like we don't have to say too much more than that. This just
Sounds
more
good.
than any other program. This is a program that people are called to. They know it's for them. It's not a rational thing. They're guided. And so I'm just going to leave it there.
That sounds beautiful. Yeah.
Do you guys have questions for us?
Yes.
Any questions that we can answer?
Please drop your questions in the live chat, whether it be right now or whether you're watching the replay.
Yeah, we look at all the comments, so anything that you got coming up, just let us know. I'll put the link. If you feel like, if you're just like, yes, I want to have a 7-figure business. Yes, I want to have exponential impact. Yes, I want to go to India. Yes, I want to have that deep relationship with God. Yes, I want to step into the container, or I might want to step into the container that Jesse and Sri hold. Just click that link. Just go for it. Book time with us now. It's going to fill up. And it's going to be so special.
Mm-hmm.
And similarly, if any of those questions for you felt like, no, great. We're so into your clarity, whatever your clarity is. So what types of things are you planning for this program in India? We'll be there for 3 weeks. The whole itinerary is planned. Of course, in India, you have to be willing to be flexible and improvise, right? There's a collaboration with India that will happen. That's built in.
Yes.
We're both improvisers, so we're good at that.
It's a very flexible country.
But we'll be traveling. It's a pilgrimage. We'll be traveling to sacred sites all over India. We'll take 2 flights together. Stay in 5 different locations, and give you absolutely the deepest, richest, most glorious experience that you could possibly have in India. We're very confident about that. We've been to all the places that we're taking you, and so we've done the recon. We know what's happening there. You'll experience a pretty wide range of luxury and more monastic, like renunciate lifestyle, right? So it's not just a luxury retreat where you don't really get to feel India, right? In order to give you the best experience, we're gonna give you a wide range. Location, we'll feed you amazing vegetarian food every single day. You'll get to go to amazing temples, experience tremendous teachings from us as well as other spiritual teachers there.
Music, all kinds of
amazing music every day.
Every day.
You'll get showered in flower petals. Yeah, Dorta, I know. I know you're feeling it.
Food will be absolutely spectacular.
And it's such an unusual thing because there's tons of pilgrimages to India. And if what you want is to go to India and that's all, we can totally refer you to other people who lead amazing trips to India every single year. There's lots of those. What makes this different is that we're all entrepreneurs and we're all focused on that 7-figure mark and really incorporating spiritual practice and business into one conversation. So we'll be doing that in India, and then that's why there's a mastermind for the whole rest of the year to help you really integrate what happens in India.
Beautiful.
Any other questions? Anything else you feel like we should talk about?
No.
Just how beautiful your face is.
I do have a beautiful face. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's beautiful because you look at it and see it as beautiful. Therefore, I get more beautiful when you love my face.
Well, and then when you get more beautiful, then I just love you even more.
And then I get more beautiful because you're loving me.
It's just a spiraling up kind of thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love loving your beauty.
It takes an extremely beautiful person to notice the beauty of another person.
Yeah.
So thank you for being so beautiful yourself.
It's just so easy to appreciate it when I'm around someone with such a beautiful and pure heart as you. It's impossible not to love you. It's just impossible.
I wish I could smile as full and as deep of an expression as you. All right, let's focus back in.
You guys are amazing. For you to spend an hour with us talking about your 2020 vision in September, like, amazing. You guys are amazing. And I'm so honored to know all of you and look forward to knowing you more.
Thank you for being here. Look forward to serving you even more. In this way, digitally, in person.
Michelle, hi. Yeah. Please,
Michelle's here. Awesome.
Let us know what lands. You can reach out to us, comment in the YouTube video. That, of course, helps people see the YouTube video. You can share the YouTube video. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing more stuff like this. We're posting lots of videos on social right now. So anything that we can do to serve, let us know.
Blessings and love.
Blessings and love.